On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
.93.7 The Ticket post-game show. Creighton 77, Nebraska 69. Several stories to tell, more questions to answer. We'll get through them all. I'm DP. Across from me, the velvety tones of Jake Bacco. How are you, brother?
Oh, not too bad. The postgame is brought to you by Action Plumbing, Heating, Electric, and AC. Of course, would like to be talking about a win tonight, but another year, another shortcoming up against the hated rival Creighton. So, pretty, like you said, a lot of storylines out of this one, and I think there's some positives to take from it as well. So, it hurts to lose the game, but I think that they, at least some of the parts around the pieces that you think are going to be your core, look the part tonight.
We did not get the player profiles that we thought we were, but we did get some more information. We got the reemergence of a couple of folks that we thought would be a part of this thing. Let's bring in Husker Hall of Famer, Big A champ, former NBA vet, and all-around stud, Eric Strickland. Strick, what's happening, sir?
What is this? How y'all this evening?
You know how we do on an evening. So for the listeners, you guys can call in. You guys can text in for this first segment while Strick is on the phone. Text us. 402-464-5685, the Honda Lincoln hotline. You can call later, but the Starter Heyman text line is open now for your comments and suggestions. Strick, you've been in these battles and you understand the space between Omaha and Lincoln. Tonight, it's 8 points. We have more questions and answers. What's your first take from Creighton's 77-69 win?
Well, being a basketball analyst, when I look at it, there's some things you can take away. There's some positives, but there's still some negatives, which we will delve into that. But the other part of it is, as much as I love the state of Nebraska and Omaha, and of course, I believe red, but as just a balanced person, with regards to analysis of the game, you just gotta look at what McDermott has done and has continued to do, and that's dominate the state of Nebraska. Period. They played with poise, even when the runs were made. They never allowed them to let momentum take over and get down on themselves. They seem consistent in the areas of moving the ball continuously like a hot pepper, and it was moving around the perimeter with penetration, drive, and the same thing we talk about in football. I don't know what it is. Is it a Husker thing? We're playing a lot of digital underground down there. I mean, they just start blasting in on all the speakers on campus because it's the same old song, and we'll dig more into that. I mean, I'll start off by saying, against Western Illinois, in some areas they fixed in the last game against the last game they played against Southern Illinois.
Yeah.
So they fixed some of those, but we can then look at it like this from this standpoint. We talked about them fixing and having heart checks with regards to rebounding. Against Western, it was 55-30-37, the rebound difference. Tonight, it was 50-36. So we know if the numbers look like that in any aspect of the non-conference season, in non-conference games, and in the Big Ten Conference, if it looks anything like that, we can then assess that it's probably going to be an L in the column, unless the other team just absolutely shoots horrid. So if they absolutely shoot horrid, then there could be a difference in what the outcome of the game. They almost overcame it tonight, but they weren't able to do it. They balanced it out with defense and turnovers that Creighton had amassed through the night, which was I think 16. So there's the balance was, because that allowed Nebraska to get more shots than Creighton tonight, but still they shot a bad percentage. So that's what it comes down to. They end up with an L, and a lot of that had to do with poise. A lot of that had to do with, even though Creighton's a young team, even though Yeah, they don't have the same veteran leadership that they've had in the past. Nebraska also is a new team, so you're talking about new chemistry. And but you can tell the disciplines of the team where that ball doesn't stay in one spot. And I'll like to talk a little bit more once we get more into the post game with regards to Birds. And I understand, but I don't, and we can talk more about that shortly.
But first take.
Oh well, yeah. I mean, it's kind of the same old story here, but part of that same old story, like you guys are saying, like Strick was saying, is Creighton. I mean, Creighton is the ball movement's impressive. I didn't expect to see the team kind of have that type of chemistry quite yet. I hadn't, have been able to watch them yet, and I figured they'd be kind of growing as a team, but they didn't quite. I mean, they had a lot more turnovers than Nebraska. They didn't quite look, the part that they have the last couple of years, but pretty close. And I think a lot of it was just the fact that Nebraska couldn't get the lid off the basket early on. Some of that's their own doing, not taking good shots at times, not moving the ball. But then, when you spend so much energy kind of getting back in that game, sometimes it's kind of hard to keep that momentum. They never quite took the lead, and Creighton just kind of ran away with it. But again, tonight you have, to me, this was about some of the supporting cast coming around. You had guys like Lat Mayen, of course, started off well for Nebraska. And then, obviously Kobe Webster having his first action looked phenomenal and helped keep him in that game. CJ Wilcher had his best game as a Husker, but you didn't get, what you've been getting out of McGowan's and Verge. And even, you wish you could just keep the same Andre, but I mean, this is basketball. There's ups and downs. And so you kind of have to find some of those, kind of deal with a hot night and a cold night from different guys. But, if it still looks the part that if they can put it all together and kind of string together, play team ball to help each other get a hot night from one another, that there's still a lot of upward potential for this team.
There's a lot of numbers to digest. We'll start with the Huskers team numbers. They shot 37% from the field, 26 of 70. They shot 38% from three, 10 of 26, 7 of 9 from the free throw line. They had 7 turnovers, scored 24 points off turnovers, 36 rebounds. They were minus 14 for the night, but only minus 4 on the offensive end. Bench points, they got 42 points off the bench, and then 8 fast break points and 15 assists. So by theory, 15 assists, 7 numbers say what it should say. I mean, that those are the numbers you want. Let's go down to individual numbers. CJ Wilcher, 6 of 11, 15 points, 4 rebounds in 32 minutes. Alonzo Verge, 5 of 15 for 10 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists. Of course, the story of the night is Kobe Webster off the bench, 20 minutes, 8 of 11 from the field, 4 of 7 from 3 for 20 points. Bryce McGowan's 3 of 10 for 6 points and 5 rebounds for the freshman. And then Lat Mayen with 9 points, 2 of 6 from the field, 2 of 4 from 3, 3 of 5 from the free throw line in his 21 minutes. The story to think about is that Trey McGowan's return, he didn't return out of the locker room with the team, came out later in the game with a boot and on crutches. Gave him 10 minutes. And to say that when you lose, that losing your captain won't affect your game, especially when he's your actual leader, team leader. I'm not surprised at the performance of this team without Trey McGowan on the floor. To be blue strict.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be a devastating blow to them, losing Trey. His energy, his ability to defend, his passion within the game, and the voice that he carries. So a lot of those things are going to be, lost when you lose him. Yes, he'll still be there. He'll be supportive, but definitely those things are lost. I think one of the things I take notice of is Alonzo Verge with only 22 minutes in the game. I don't want anybody to think I'm pounding on the young fella because I get it. Being a person who has never played the point guard position before, like myself, I understand there's a learning curve. But with that, his aggressiveness, he over-penetrates a lot. And when I say over-penetrate, the couple of times where he made just the right penetration and he kicked out, he found a couple of open looks and got guys great shots. Whether they made them or they missed them, they made more than they missed in those certain situations. But when you have your point guard that has 22 minutes and shooting 5 for 15 at a 33 clip, and the assist numbers, great ratio. But I would like a couple of those guys, T.J. Walters and the Kobe Websters, and even to find out Bryce McGowan. I think that's what's lost, that as a point guard, you have to understand not only time to score situation, but also you have to understand who's in the game, what is my KYP, knowing your personnel, and then who's my guy that's been down, been out. You got to understand that Trey McGowan's been sitting on the bench for a long clip. You need to run a set, a play, a screen, a post up, or something to get him moving, get his feet active, and to find the ball so that he can do what he does best. They found him right off the great backdoor cuts. They ran the offense, they ran some plays, they ran some sets. They got some good looks. It was when they went into one-on-one, and it's my show. We got stagnant, and they finally started taking bad shots at times, and then their percentages went way down. And so, and the other part of that is not having Trey's energy. You found a lot of stagnation just watching. And I'm talking about the defensive end. When they had a chance to take the lead and kind of push, they had the momentum. They lost their way with regards to just stagnation, standing, or bad shots, and it allowed Creighton also rebounding, and it allowed Creighton to get extra opportunities to not only run the clock, because if you watch Creighton, they ran that clock down. That clock always was somewhere under 10 by the time they took a shot, and it was 3 or 4 penetrations with a good look, and they missed a lot of them, which allowed Nebraska to get back into the game. But at the end of the day, when they counted, they hit those shots, and that's what you saw with Hawkins and some of those guys, even though Connor went cold. But Hawkins and the big fella inside did the number that they needed to do to secure this win.
Bach, for me, if I asked you what lineup you would go with, what 5 players should have the most minutes? Who are they in your mind?
Oh, man, right now it's hard to tell because who's playing well on that given night. I think it looked like Andre was kind of pressing to live up to what he kind of did the other night, and it kind of affected his game. It just kind of depends. Verge at times, I think it was a good idea to take him out in the first half and kind of give the looks to the other guys, let them know, that he's going to have to start sharing the ball and stop the ISO as much. And so, I mean, I think long term though, Verge is one of your better players. He would be still in my 5. And interesting, that idea of the text line is that if Kobe's playing that like that, maybe have him run the point and have Verge play the off guard like he's been used to at Arizona State. But it's just it's kind of a who's playing hot, who's doing well down low. At times it looks like Andre or Walker or Breidenbach can play in there. So it would be hard to just pick a 5 and say that's your best 5 right now. I think they still have some growing and kind of figuring out to do.
Strick, for you, what 5? What guys, guys that you would want to play with, guys that seem to feel like they have a feel for the game and a feel for the other people on the floor?
Well, I definitely like to tap in and follow Bach's coat line on that one. His Postgame and get on his back, because I think he said it right. You really can't decipher as to what's going to happen. I think it can be any given night, and I think that's what we talked about on the Strickland show, and we talked in different times. Is that each night could be a different night for guys, and that's what you got to learn and understand and know the personnel and what's going and who's hot, and that's what the point guard needs to do. I think Kobe did a good job of getting them settled, getting them into things. I think you're not going to have those times tonight. Tonight it was Kobe. I'm not talking about the Bryant. I'm talking about the Webster. And he did the job. He kept them in it between him and T.J. Wiltshire earlier in the first half. So we still haven't had Kaminaka exciting. So there's going to be a night where Kaminaka goes nuts. There's going to be a night where Andre has 5 blocks and 15 points with 10 rebounds. There's going to be a night where the big fella Goggles has 3 threes and has 12 rebounds and is making a run at things. And so you're just never going to know. on a given night, but you got to go with the flow when it is flowing that way. And so yeah, I follow Bach's line of thinking on that. You just don't know for a given night what it will be.
I do want to get to some of these texts on the Starter Heyman text line. So, folks, we are paying attention to it. Let's try to get through as many of them. And Strick, you can stop me if one moves you to comment. You guys know the rule on the postgame show. I'm not going to be about nonsense. Certain texts I'm just not going to read because they're not really saying anything. The texter asked this question: how was Verge ever starting? Team looked so much better without him. Strick, can you answer that?
I mean, I think I answered it kind of a little bit earlier.
Mm-hmm.
You can't have your point guard taking 15 shots and shooting 33%. That's a losing recipe. Mom can put that in the stove and in the oven long enough to get that to taste good. You can't put enough Kool-Aid Brown seasoning on it to make that thing come out right.
Right.
It's not a good look. You know, when your point guard shooting that many times has a great ratio. So just look if he distributed that. Okay, let's just say he shot 10 times. You know, so maybe now he's 5 for 10, or he's 4 for 10. Okay, he's at 40%, but then four or five of those shots are now at 6. And so now you're at 8-to-1 ratio. So now a guy like, Bryce McGowan, or, maybe you get Walker a couple touches, you know what I'm saying? Off a pick and roll. Stretch the defense a little bit, find him, get him in the dive. Because as a big man, you're defending, you're bumping, you're grinding, you're running, you're doing all of these things, you're setting screens, and you ain't getting no touches.
Yeah.
It gets frustrating.
Yeah.
So there's got to be two or three times where you say, "Damn, I gotta get this on the ball. He's been working hard." That's the game you got to play as a point guard. You got to play multiple games in your head, because it seems that Coach Hoiberg gives them extreme freedom.
Mm-hmm.
And I noticed that because when Kobe Webster was calling certain things out, and so I'm like, okay, he's giving them great freedom, but at the end of the day, he's got to play the game. Hey, this one's been running. I got to find him. I got to get one. Okay, Bryce, he's been sitting for a while. Okay, we're gonna run. We're gonna run two cross. Whatever it may be. I don't know what their plays are. I'm just saying, but we're gonna run this one because I know this play is gonna get him either a look, or we're gonna get the ball into his hand to get him something, either to the basket or not. So that's the way I look at it from that standpoint, DP.
Strick, well, hold on a sec. Big Sky, you have news for us.
Per John Rothstein from CBS Sports, Fred Hoiberg told reporters that Nebraska's Trey McGowan suffered a broken foot in tonight's loss against Creighton.
Bach?
That's devastating. I feel bad for the young fella.
Mm-hmm.
That's devastating. You waited, you took some pounding, some head beating. You're captain of the team, and to have suffered a broken foot this early in the season, that's devastating, because that's probably going to cost you this season.
Yeah, that's tough to see. I mean, and we know he's a guy who said this was going to be his last year at Nebraska. Is all planned to kind of, finally play for his brother. He's been yamming him down in the middle of the lane. Had another attempt at it tonight, and it is devastating. Like you said, maybe can still help lead from the sidelines. As far as rotation, I mean, thank God you're deep, right? I mean, this is why it's so nice to have Kobe Webster there. Now it's it's less of a fight for minutes and more kind of slide in and play there, but. He just gives you something that you're not going to easily replace. Usually when you lose a guy, there's going to be some elements of the game that you just don't have as a team anymore. His defensive intensity is your best defender, and he's so versatile. You could switch and play some bigger guys. I'm not saying all the way down low, but especially around the perimeter, your best defender. So it's going to be tough. That's a tough pill to swallow for this basketball team.
Let's go.
And he's probably one of the most explosive guys.
Yeah.
So I'm going to miss the banging on your head. He always put a poster on somebody tonight. and that's the stuff I'm going to miss, because that's the stuff that gets the energy and brings the energy to the crowd. The stuff that Trey does is that, those highlight reels, highlight films that get Pinnacle jumping. And I know Bryce can bang and he can go up to the best of them, but he doesn't attack with the type of authority that Trey does. And so those are the things you're also going to miss from him, is those highlight reels that gets the crowd pumping.
From the text line, again, folks, I'm trying to get to and it's moving quickly, so I was trying to do that. Ubaldo says if the break that doesn't require surgery, maybe able to get back by January. Kevin says another 7-win season. Yay, Fred. Mason says going to tonight's game was like watching the middle school A squad run a 4-round-1 really well, and then watching the B squad try to do it, and it just as good, except the A squad passed it twice as many times.
There you go, right there. That part right there, GP. That one is that's the difference that you saw between a well-oiled and disciplined team. That's winning basketball. That the way that Creighton moves that thing, it doesn't stay, and then it's 3 passes, and I think that's what I'm trying to allude to with Alonzo Burns. He wants to get off the pick and roll, and this is gonna get off the pick and roll, stretch the defense, hit the next man. It ain't even the roll guy. He's trying to even hit the roll guy. There's a turnover. So it ain't the roll guy, because smart defenses can take away the pick and roll, and they can take away the next one. Bad defenses, you're going to be able to get the rim all day long. So that's bad defense. Good defenses, they're taking that away. It's the next pass. Then it's the next pass with a penetration, and then it's the kick. There's the open shot. So you're 3 passes away from the open shot. That's what Creighton was doing. That's why their clip was higher. That's why they shot better, because they took better shots by running their offense, period.
Strick, it's so weird, though, but this was the thing. Their shooting percentage, they were shooting 18% for the season from 3. Like, some nights it's just your night, right? They haven't been that team. And, yeah, Nebraska's been who Nebraska's been. But look, man, if I was going to worry about how Creighton was going to beat me, them taking threes was not it. Going into that game, that was not.
But DP, listen, they're college guys too, right? So, pro guys, my thing is, a pro guy with an open shot should hit 80%.
Okay.
If you're worth your salt, you should hit 80% butt naked. Right?
Right.
A college guy should hit at least 60-70% butt naked. So if you're getting open shots by way of penetration kicks or rebound or whatever, something open. I mean, I watched Nebraska on rebounds a couple times, just stand there looking at it while the guy got it, and still sit there and watch him put it back in. Those are open shots. That's an open look. That's not a challenge shot.
Mm-hmm.
So when you have that, DP, you're a high-level college team out of the Big East. You shot 18% from the first game, but you get open shots, you're going to hit sooner or later if you're worth your salt. And that's what happened.
I want to read this from the text line. It says, DP needs a lesson in statistics. 2 to 3 games is not big enough sample size to say Jay stuck with me. 18%. There's no analytics for that. That's 2 games, and that's what it was. See, facts are one thing. Your opinion is a whole nother. See, what we do is we give facts, and then as the season plays out, you give the new facts. That's what happens. That's actually how sports works. From an analytics standpoint, yeah, you need to factor that in also as well. That's how stats work, but that's you go ahead. Further into it, team is playing off emotion too much. That 19-point deficit comeback had them gassed by the end of the game. Need a little more stability on offense. Got to give credit to Creighton for making shots. So, yeah, all of that's true. Like that. Look, I don't mind the emotional part of it because, again, for a Nebraska team where Bryce is new, Verge is new, Wilcher's new, like they had new dudes too. So them playing in a packed PBA, that's first time. They better be emotional. Matter of fact, they're built to be emotional. They're supposed to feed off of that. That's actually how that is. Now, maturity allows for you to chill in that. Strick, is that correct or no?
Yeah, I think you hit it on the nail on the head. Maturity has you to settle into that and still be effective within the scope of the energy. So, yeah, there's no doubt that you can have energy, but you can't blow a gasket by way of what they call adrenaline pumps.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what happened to them in the first game. It was like an adrenaline pump.
Right.
And when you have that type of energy in the place, that's why you saw coming out of the first half, you saw multiple air balls from the guys that were hottest, right?
Right.
Because they had adrenaline dumps. And so you have to be able to come back out and just kind of say, blow that thing out, we saw, okay, it's another half, can't play on what happened. So just calm down, chill out, relax, and let everything continue to flow.
Right.
And so that's where you had those types of situations happen.
We're going to throw it to break and come back, go a little bit deeper into the numbers, get back into the text line. And look, man, voice your, you can be upset, but just remember, if you're a jerk to me, I have the microphone. That's how that works. Stay tuned. More of the Postgame Show on 93.7 The Ticket.
I was in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean when it happened. There was a sudden jolt, and our submarine crashed on the seafloor. We were in total darkness.
That's Dr. Dejana Figueroa, a marine biologist and STEM teacher, talking about a deep sea dive she'll never forget.
It's funny. When I was a kid, I was afraid of the ocean. And there I was, 2 miles below the surface. But as a scientist, you prepare for that. Using our training and a little creativity, we fixed the sub and finished our experiments. The dive was just too important. Every dive gives us glimpses at things few people ever get to see. Glowing creatures, fiery undersea volcanoes. When we got back to the surface, I kissed the ground and called my mom, of course. But you know what? I wouldn't trade that dive for anything.
Dr. Figueroa uses her passion for STEM to discover new things and make the world a better place. She can STEM, so can you. Check out She Can STEM for more stories and inspiration. A message from the Ad Council.
Beatrice Bakery has been serving Nebraska with one-of-a-kind Grandma's Fruit Cake since 1964. You already know that. Did you know they offer way more than that? You've got to try their line of liqueur cakes, like the strawberry daiquiri cake or the vanilla rum cake. Or what about their breakfast breads, the banana nut bread, or their various streusel coffee cakes? Whatever the occasion, Beatrice Bakery has something for you. Oh yeah, and Grandma's Fruit Cake? It's still pretty darn good. Beatrice Bakery, located in downtown Beatrice, or always online at beatricebakery.com. Welcome to our world of yum.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your NTV's weather tonight, increasing clouds, much colder, lows 38, north winds gusting to 30. For your Wednesday, cloudy in the morning, sunshine, much colder in the afternoon, highs 48, northwest winds gusting to 35. I'm NTV Chief Forecaster Ken Poughton for 93.7 The Ticket and the TicketFM.com.
Action Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electric is your go-to service call in Lincoln and Southeast Nebraska for expertise, convenience, and reliability. As your home and business needs expand, so do the services Action can deliver. Now positioned as Southeast Nebraska's premier installer of charging stations for electronic vehicles, they're always committed to a job done right. Give them a call or visit their website at actionlincoln.com. Action, your proud sponsor of the Ticket Postgame Show.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Gaina Trucking guarantees a 40-hour work week year-round, and their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Hi, I'm Jay Foreman. When I played football for Nebraska and the NFL, I wore lots of protective gear to safeguard my health. I'm still protecting my health, as well as my family, friends, and community because I got my COVID vaccine. And now, even kids 5 years and older can be vaccinated. If you've been vaccinated, get your booster shot if you qualify. It's free, it's safe, and it protects all of us. Suit up against COVID. Find out more at healthylincoln.org.
Lincoln's mega liquidation store is here. Wholesale Logistics is now open on West O Street as a bin store with tons of liquidation pallets, appliances, mattresses, furniture, and more. Brand new mattresses 30 to 60% off retail with well-known brands. New furniture also 30 to 60% off retail value. Brand new LG scratch and dent appliances 35 to 40% off retail. Wholesale Logistics purchases truckloads of smaller items from major retailers and throws them into bins with everything starting at just $8. Get to Wholesale Logistics, open each Friday to Tuesday from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. at 2811 West O Street.
Back to the Tickets Basketball Postgame Show, featuring Derek Pearson and former Husker and 9-year NBA vet, Eric Strickland on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Huskers, Blue Jays, post-game show, 93.7 The Ticket. Connor Happel will join us at 9 o'clock. Have him call in real quick from wherever he is on the planet. He's leaving the building to do that. The numbers speak loudly. Eric Strickland, Husker Hall of Famer, is on with Jake Bachhoven and Big Sky and myself, and we're just going to talk you through this next bit of segment. And there's a couple more texts to get to you, all right? Mailman Dan says this. What's up, DP? What's up, Mailman Dan? It's early in the season. They played extremely hard so far. I think they can be a 500 team this year. Go Big Red. Strick, your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I actually think they have the potential to do it even better than that. You can't take for granted when you put that kind of talent mix together, who have been other places, who have played in other places, who have been in other systems, and you bring them together and just expect it on a whim to jail. It's something that's very tough. I'm not saying that it can't happen, but it's just very tough. And that's why it takes a coaching staff to be honed in on the main thing being unselfishness.
Mm-hmm.
The only way it can work is by that way of unselfishness. So I think they actually have the potential to shock people. That won't happen if they rebound the way that they do. It won't happen if the ball stays stagnant. It won't happen if they don't understand the time score situation and play with more poise. Because I see when they get down in certain situations or when momentum shifts, I don't see poise, I see panic. And it's written all over their face, and it's written over their style of play, because then it's one pass and a dumb shot. It's come down on the fast break, and instead of attacking the rim, get to the free throw line during the bonus. Understanding all that, and so it speaks to what I've been saying about time score situation, because you look at all of that, you know you're in the bonus, looking to the free throw line, stop this clock, and those are all the things you got to look at and consider. If their basketball IQ doesn't raise collectively, then you're just a bunch of talented cats out there just playing the game. And so you'll beat bad teams, but you'll lose to good ones.
Yeah, that's gospel. Let's go back to the Sarda Heyman text line. Block, I'll shoot you this one. Huskers have some perfect games ahead to work out the kinks and build team chemistry. I can very realistically see them being 6-2 heading into their 2 Big Ten games. If this team plays unselfish and settles into an identity, they can make a splash this year. Your thoughts?
I'd have to do some scouting on some of these other teams. I'm sure they'll give you a little bit more of a go, but yeah, it's certainly possible. I mean, that was kind of the talk coming into the year, is that if you beat Creighton and handled your business, you could be 7-0 going into the North Carolina State game.
You got to stop doing
Big
that.
Ten ACC. They're just handing wins out, right?
Stop doing that to people. Man, you could be 7-0. People are already doing that for Huskers football. It drives me crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Stop doing it.
Yeah, and so I mean, but no, I agree with the whole sentiment that this team has potential. Now, again, that's why I was excited about tonight. Some of your better players didn't have a great ball game, and instead of kind of just getting buried, I mean, this is a team that was very close to getting buried. It could have been buried, right? by that 19-point spurt there. It just looked like they didn't belong in the same court as Creighton at first, but they fought back. They kind of went to some pieces that you wouldn't think would be the spark, and they got it going again and almost came back and took the lead. So, I think this team's still got a lot of potential. It's just, how quickly can they gel and kind of get over their problems? Like Strick was saying, the rebounding, that's just got to be fixed, though. I mean,
that's a forever problem.
They're not going to get to where they want to if they don't rebound well. And they did kind of better rebounding as a team. They had 4 guys with 5 rebounds, another guy with 4. But the problem is Creighton has, 3 guys. 8. They got 4 guys with 8 or more. So, and they have some size, but it's just, they have some things to work on, and it's going to take some time to gel. But I think the potential is there. For this team to really still, kind of push for 500 in the Big Ten and overall have a winning record and hopefully still be on the bubble there. I'm not throwing in the towel just yet.
I thought they would be 2-1 after tonight. They're 1-2. Idaho State on Friday, Southern on Sunday, Tennessee State on Tuesday, South Dakota the following Saturday. When they talk about being able to, hey, work on your stuff. And we're not saying take days off. We're not saying it's going to be easy. But this is an opportunity that you've got to reset yourself. You got to reset yourself. So buckle up, Idaho State. You got a brawl coming, right? Because it's mandatory. It's mandatory. Strick, I got the question for you. What is our offensive identity? Is our basketball team running the Scott Frost offense? I thought you would enjoy the laugh. That's
yeah, that's the problem. They're really. I haven't seen one. I haven't taken an identity of one. They're not even doing what I thought they would be doing, and that's running with purpose and situation. They don't run their offense good enough yet. They're trying to run a pro-style offense. I get it. He's trying to prepare some of those guys for the next level. But I think running purpose will get guys like Derek Walker and get guys like Eduardo Andre, get guys like Goggles. You get them opportunities that they may not get in the traditional sense. That's why it's important to, 1, rebound. And then 2, so it looks like to me that everybody's standing looking at the ball as it goes up. Nobody's going put bodies on them, because here's what happens. I found a situation when they're running their pick and roll, their guy rolls hard to the basket, the other guy replaces. They kick the ball out. There's stagnation on defense. And then one of the things that Nebraska does good is they rotate. So you have great rotations. They fire off, they get to the guys, goal penetration, then a shot goes up. So now, because you're switching, if you're going to switch, you've got to have heart. You've got to have guys with tremendous heart that's going to be willing to put a body on a big man, push him under the rim, and do whatever it takes to make sure he don't get the rebound. That's what didn't happen. So those are the things that got to show up. So offensively, they're not running anything that is difficult. There's not a lot of change of direction. It's very pro-stylish, but it's pro-stylish on a court that doesn't have NBA threes. So you don't have the same spacing that you would normally have. So therefore, that's why your penetration and not over-penetration with kicks, that then opens the floor up, but they're not doing that. So, yeah, they're not running much of anything that I like to see at this point.
Back to the Starter Hammond text line. The season depends on how quickly they can figure out the most efficient way to play with their personnel. I have no doubt they will learn to play together, but they will try fitting a square peg in a round hole with their play style. I would say this, and Bach, I'll hand it over to you, but I'll say this. Strick can tell you the different levels of this system and why they work. Inexperienced players don't know that. They have to learn to trust it. And if it's easy in practice, right, if it's 4 passes and shoot in practice, that doesn't always happen on game nights. So, Bach, I'll ask you, do you think they can get better usage of this personnel that they have, that now, You're down 1. You thought you were 12 deep. Now you're 11. Can you make this thing work?
I think you can. I mean, I think that, again, with different guys getting hot, with Lotman, kind of jumping out tonight, he can stretch the floor a little bit for you. But you're going to need guys, and particularly Verge and Bryce McGowan. I know Bryce kind of had a down night tonight, but those are your penetrators. Those are the guys that are going to get to the hoop often and be able to, and for McGowan's a lot of time draw fouls. But the thing that's kind of been missing, even though he said those 20-point games, is where's the assists. And, I think both him and Verge, as the season goes on, you have those shooters, draw the defense in, kick it out to them. And that's kind of the offense. But that we kind of all envisioned with Fred Hoiberg is a lot of 3-point shooting. They took 26 tonight. It kind of looked a little bit more, and I thought it looked a little better than it did the first few games. I think it's coming along to a degree. But I think it's a long way from where it needs to be, and eventually you'd love to see it someday look like Creighton's. I mean, because that's how I come away so impressed with Coach McDermott and what he's able to do with that team. They're so you got to get some crap for saying this, but I kind of liked watching Creighton play the last couple of years because with their seasoned vets, I mean, they were passing the ball. It was just pretty basketball. And I didn't expect to necessarily see that as easily transition to this young team that's kind of growing together. But Coach McDermott's got a way to get them to play that team offensive ball. And maybe it's the personnel. I mean, one thing that really helps them is their point guard. Really impressed by Nimhart in kind of leading that machine.
Yeah, Connor had said before the game that he thought that was going to be the key and the focus. And Nimhart gave them everything they could want. He was 6 of 11 from the field. 4 or 5 from 3, 6 or 9 from the free throw line, 22 points, 5 boards. Wow.
That's 5 turnovers.
Yeah.
But DP, but look what I said, though. 11 shots.
Yeah.
54%. That's what Verge needs to do.
Yeah.
54%. Everything was a good shot. Yeah. Yes, he turned the ball over tonight, but for the most part, he controlled the flow of the game, and that's what they need.
Yeah. On a night when, and again, if there are several things that if you tell me that Nebraska has 10 more shots than Creighton, I tell you Nebraska wins. So wrong on that one. I was a bit stunned by it, quite frankly. But if Brian Bach, Eduardo Andre, Keon Edwards, and Casey can't bang down the numbers off the bench, especially now that Kobe goes higher into the rotation because he needs to. And Strick, like we kept saying, where's Kobe? Well, there's Kobe. 8 of 11, 20 points, all the energy in the world.
I think if they continue to have that good bench play, they will bode well on the long and arduous and tough Big Ten conference. Right? Because you have to have strong bench play. If they have 1 or 2 guys that just have solid off the bench games for them and have consistently from the starting lineup, whoever and whatever that may be, then they can do all right. They should win their fair share of games. Somebody said earlier 7 losses, 7 wins. I think they'll be beyond that. I don't think they're that bad.
Yeah,
I don't think they're not that bad.
Strick, if they're that bad, you and I are going to we are going to have a terrible win. That's all I can tell you. If that's what that is, we'll throw it a break. We'll come back more up. Through all these texts, we'll get through them. So Chris, Faisal, Frederick Frank, we'll get to your text when we come back from the break. There's some good stuff in there. Strick, we'll load you with this one, and we'll leave with this. He says, Creighton always beats Nebraska by being more disciplined and taking better shots. I'll ask for your response, and Strick will give it when we come back.
Hi, Sean Callahan here of HuskerOnline.com, inviting you to join us here on 93.7 The Ticket every Saturday morning now in our new time. We're on from 8 to 9 with the weekly Husker Online radio show. We'll give you the latest in recruiting. We'll talk about what's going on with both football, basketball, and we'll probably share a few stories from the inside. It's every Saturday morning right here on 93.7 The Ticket. It's the Husker Online radio show from 8 to 9 a.m.
Are you sick of mindlessly running on a treadmill or the lack of motivation to consistently work out? Whatever your challenge, Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping can help. Whether you want to lose weight, boost energy, or simply improve your overall health, you'll fit right in at Farrell's regardless of age or abilities. Build endurance with their kickboxing and strength training group fitness classes while also getting nutrition coaching. Try Farrell's now for a free week. Visit fxblincoln.com or call Jeff at 402-310-4026. Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping.
Your home should not be a zoo to unwelcomed animals. Let the experts at Bats to Rats take care of those problems. Dane has been a leader in wildlife and pest management and prevention in Lincoln and the surrounding area for 15 years. He can help you get rid of bats, rodents, and anything else. Whether it's residential or commercial buildings, schools, apartments, or churches, they're always a phone call away. Call today at 402-310-0904 or visit batsterats.com. Bats to Rats Wildlife Control and Prevention.
Action Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electric has been serving Lincoln and Southeast Nebraska for over 50 years. They've been a trusted name to deliver honest, quality services you can count on. It's always important to know someone you can trust, whether it's for your home or your business. Action is well established and offers convenience and reliability, always committed to a job done right. Give them a call or visit their website at actionlincoln.com. Action, your proud sponsor of the Ticket Postgame Show.
One host has a red beard and thinning hair. The other also has a red beard and thinning hair. One host got married over the summer. So did the other one. One is a diehard fan of a sub-500 AL Central baseball team. So is the other. Can these two radio hosts do a show together without getting confused as to their own identity? The same couple. Happer and Schaefer. Weekday mornings from 8 to 11 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hey, buying a used vehicle sucks, and the biggest problem is who can you trust? Hey, this is Carl from Price Right Auto out here at West O Street in Lincoln. Here's what customers have told us they want from us. They want transparent pricing with no games. We have all our pricing on our website, plus a Carfax report. We don't want to buy a lemon. We include a 3-month warranty on all of our vehicles. We don't want to play games. Just make it simple. We saw that with non-commissioned salespeople. Can you trust us? Just check out our Google reviews. Again, this is Carl from Price Right Auto on West O. Check us out at pricerightauto.com.
Back to the Tickets Basketball Postgame Show, featuring Derek Pearson and former Husker and 9-year NBA vet, Eric Strickland on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back. Postgame Show 93.7 The Ticket. DP, Strick, Spot, Big Sky. Strick, the statement was, Creighton always beats Nebraska by being more disciplined and taking better shots. Your thoughts, kind sir?
Yeah, I mean, that's what I said earlier. That's it. That's where they've always seemed to beat Creighton. All the games I've seen. Beat Nebraska. All the games I've seen has been they just seem like a more disciplined team who move the ball. They rebound effectively. It's like they all play to their strength. They don't do anything or try to do anything more than what they're going to do to help the team win in whatever their strength is. You know what I mean? Yep. So, I mean, I know you saw Sharif tonight. Sharif Mitchell but he was just trying to get back into his rhythm. I mean, man only practice, not even a full practice of going at it. So, so I don't even count that. But the rest of the guys, they stuck to what they did and they do well. I think they've got something with Kaluma. I think he's going to be a nice little player for them in due time once he kind of figures it out. Gets into a little bit more of the season. I think he's going to be solid as well. That's a huge find they got with Hawkins. He's been a success. He's been a winner, and then that's what it looks like to me. It's just like they recruit for their style. Mm-hmm. They're going to get the kind of players that are going to play the way that they like to play and do the things that they are asked of them to do, and that's it.
From the text line, it says, I agree with Strick. I love seeing the firepower off the bench. It makes it easier to avoid those super cold shooting nights. Bach, we were just joking over the break. And I said, if you called my phone a minute before opening tip and said, I have a hunch that Nebraska is going to go 4 for 23 from the field, I would have said, I'm taking your money. This basketball team, Nebraska athletics does it at such a high level, it blows my mind. There's no way this team should shoot 4 for 23 in any game, especially with the looks they got. Am I bonkers over this?
No, but at the same time, it is one of those things. It's a Nebraska Creighton game. So if you would have told me that, I would have said, "Well, yeah, that's kind of what happens." Like it's the same thing. Like
right?
Nebraska Wisconsin football will be playing this weekend. There's no reason. I mean, Nebraska's been close in all these games. There's no reason to believe this should be a 52-14 game. But if it happens, I won't be surprised one bit whatsoever because Wisconsin does that to Nebraska football, and Creighton does these sort of things to Nebraska basketball.
Oh dear goodness gracious, Strick, it's to me, but I want your two pennies on this. Why does Nebraska on offense most of the time look like they're playing driveway ball? There seems 2 or 3 guys that get the ball and think that's a one-on-one game and end up taking a garbage shot most of the time, or 2 or more guys in their face. Why can't we pass it around and have offensive identity like Creighton does and beats us with, sir?
And why you want me to answer that question?
Because
that's a tough one. I mean, it ain't even really tough. It's just it's something. It goes back to what I just said. It really does. It goes back to and this is no knock, because I'm not there, so I can only just go by what I see, right? I personally don't think Creighton is more talented than Nebraska.
True.
Hands down.
Agree.
Okay, from top to bottom.
Agree.
Bench too. Okay, so it goes down to me. I have to look at coaching staff. I have to look at there seems to be because I'm not in those practices. I can't say for sure. I can only observe. It seems to me that Coach McDermott doesn't tolerate foolishness. Doesn't tolerate dumb shots. We're going to play this way, you're going to play this way, or you're not going to be here. You're not going to play for me. Coach Hoiberg hasn't in the past had that kind of means by which to talk that way, so he could be just trying to ease them in and, like you said, after the first game, against Western Illinois, to ease them in, to allow them to fail, and then come back and have the discussion with them of, you need to play this way if you're going to win.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get to the point where if you don't play this way, then you're welcome to jump into the portal. I got to have a third play the way that I need them to play. That's why it's a contrast. It's very obvious to me.
There is the difference between getting guys who have won championships and understand what winning basketball is, and then there is getting a whole bunch of really good pieces and expecting them to gel right away. I think it's almost unfair, and shame on me for giving them credit for things they haven't done, but a lot of it would be that you assume that these pieces could fit together and maybe will still fit together. But there is a growth process, and this is game 3 with these folks playing together. That now chemistry now changes with your leader in a boot and on crutches with a broken foot. For you, Strick, how would you change the starting lineup now that McGowan's is out? Do you go with Webster? Do you go with Wilcher? Do you go with another direction? What are your thoughts?
Nah, I would probably, if I was going to do it, I would probably go with Wilcher. Big body, strong. But in order for him to maintain it, there would have to be a discussion. I need his rebound numbers to not be 4. He'd have to be in that 6 range.
Yeah.
If you're gonna play this position for me, I can't have you slacking. I can't have you slouching. I need you active, and I need you to raise numbers. I want you to continue to be aggressive and do the things that you do there, but I need you putting bodies on big men, helping out down low. I need you to increase your rebound numbers, right?
Yep.
So then I still keep Kobe coming off the bench because I need like a Kobe and a Tamanaga. I need just some energy just to change the tempo and some energy to change the momentum or or to change the energy in the building. So that's what the Kobe Westerns and the Tamanagas and Alexa them, and even, Goggles. He just needs to figure out the speed. I think the speed and the physicality for him, but once he gets it, he'll be all right. Yeah, that's the way I would probably turn it. Definitely start Mahan, because Mahan, he normally got a good way of starting things off early, as we saw from last season. He gets off to a good start, and then sometimes he just disappears. But we need him not to disappear anymore. We don't need no cats with a friendly ghost.
Yeah, right? Like, I mean, that is a thing. It's amazing that they are remarkably consistent in that. Bach, are you worried in the slightest about Bryce McGowan?
No, I mean he's not going to score 29 every night. He's going to have some off nights. I wish that were the case because I liked the first two games, but yeah, I mean I think he'll get back to it. A little concerned again that he's I think he needs to work on the drive and kick type of thing. Again, no assists tonight, but then no free throws, and he went to the hoop consistently. He got contact, didn't get the calls tonight, so you wonder if that kind of shied him away from keeping on the attack. But again, a young player, we get to watch him grow, watch him develop, and probably be in the way that he's on, the pace he's on, is become a star. But you're going to have these games where you're going to struggle and you're going to get 6 points, and you're going to need some of those other pieces to jump up and play a little bit better. But I'd still have him on probably my odds-on favorite to leading this team in scoring.
Yeah,
but Bach, here's the thing with that though. Here's the thing, right? I think you're on point, but here's the thing to watch. Watch how he returns the next game. Is it going to be that one-on-one, I'm taking over type of ball because it's a bad team? You can do that on bad teams. See, that's the fool's gold. That's the stuff you get when you go out, on the West Trip looking for some Golden State Nuggets. You know what I mean? No, that's fool's gold. If he continues that, then that's losing basketball when they get into the heat of, North Carolina State and Auburn. That's losing basketball. If he lets it come to him and he's in a nice little rhythm, and then you see guys starting to kind of gravitate and start making plays and being solid in different areas of their defense and their rebounding and their screens and their motion. You find that, then you're going to see that they're progressing. But boy, oh boy, you hit the mark. I'm looking to see how they're going to respond.
That will tell us, boy. It will tell us what you're absolutely right. Strick, appreciate you. Love you, brother. I will reach out later. We will definitely have you Friday night when the Huskers come back home. You get out of here. We're going to bring in Connor Happer. Folks, you listen to the Postgame Show, 93.7 The Ticket.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your MTV weather tonight, increasing clouds, much colder, lows 38, north winds gusting to 30. For your Wednesday, cloudy in the morning, sunshine, much colder in the afternoon, highs 48, northwest winds gusting to 35. I'm MTV Chief Forecaster Tim Houghton for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Join DP and Jay Foreman on Wednesday at Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill. DP goes one-on-one with Husker Online Sean Callahan and joins Jay from 4 to 6 to preview the Wisconsin game and more. It's this Wednesday at Tanner's, 30th and Yankee Hill.
You can search online for hours to find the best electricians in Lincoln and the surrounding area, but I'll save you time. High Electric has been serving their customers for 30 years for both residential and commercial properties. They're experts in everything electrical, from remodeling to new additions, hot tub installations, electric vehicle chargers or EV chargers, lighting, ceiling fans, and more. High Electric takes jobs from Beatrice to Omaha and all towns, big or small, in between. Call them today at 402-466-6606 or learn more at highelectric.com.
There's not many things worse than having plumbing issues at your home or business, but it's even worse if the problem isn't fixed correctly. Select Plumbing gets it right the first time, and they specialize in several things: general plumbing, water heaters, faucet and fixture repair, sewer and water underground repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate at 402-560-6197. That's Select Plumbing at 402-560-6197.
Action Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electric is your go-to service call in Lincoln and Southeast Nebraska for expertise, convenience, and reliability. As your home and business needs expand, so do the services Action can deliver. Now positioned as Southeast Nebraska's premier installer of charging stations for electronic vehicles, they're always committed to a job done right. Give them a call or visit their website at actionlincoln.com. Action, your proud sponsor of the Ticket Postgame Show.
The party is back on in Lincoln this fall, and there's no party like the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show at Tipsy Tina's in the Haymarket. Join the whole Ticket crew for 2.5 hours of pregame coverage before every home and away game this football season as they get you ready for the game. It's the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show at Tipsy Tina's in the Haymarket, sponsored by Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping, Tractor Supply Distribution Center, T.O. Haas Tire and Auto, Planet Fitness, Barnwood and Leather, and Vitalize Health.
At Koppel Chevrolet GMC, we are thankful for so many things this year, starting with our great employees, a generous community, our military personnel, and most importantly, our loyal customer base that continues to drive that money-saving mile of Louisville. Hi, this is Sean Callahan, and on behalf of everybody at Koppel, we want to wish you a happy Thanksgiving and safe travels to wherever they may take you. Happy holidays from Koppel Chevrolet GMC.
HDP, join 93.7 The Ticket on Friday at Wingstop, 29th and Pine Lake. Try all the delicious wings options as we preview Saturday's Wisconsin game and Friday night's basketball game. That's all this Friday from 3 to 6 at South Lincoln's Wingstop location, 29th and Pine Lake.
A new Planet Fitness location is coming soon. To celebrate, you can join before we open for just $1 down, $10 a month. We're squeaky clean and ready to welcome you with tons of equipment and plenty of space to spread out. So join the judgment-free zone today. We're ready when you are. Just $1 down, $10 a month. Offer ends soon. Join us today.
Planet Fitness Lincoln opening a third location soon, just east of 84th and Layton. Join now.
Planet Fitness locations are independently owned and operated. See club for details.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. Back to the Ticket's basketball postgame show. Featuring Derek Pearson and former Husker and 9-year NBA vet, Eric Strickland on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back. Post-game show, 93.7 The Ticket. I needed that. Creighton wins at 77-69. Let's bring in Connor Happer, who was there tonight at PBA. Connor, give us first take, please, sir. First thought.
Creighton is a point guard, and Nebraska doesn't.
That could work. That could work. That could work. Yeah.
Version of it anyway.
Well, I mean, right? Like, I mean, even before the game, and you kind of said Nemhard would be kind of the focus and would tell you how this thing was going to go, and his ability just to game manage within that space, and then hit big shots along the way. I didn't have him going 4 for 5 from 3, and that to me was the difference. That whenever Nebraska would get on a run, Nemhard would kind of dagger them with ice water with a 3. Is this as good as you've seen him?
Oh, I mean, it's only been 3 games. I mean,
this is incredible, though, right? I mean,
he's awesome. Yeah, I mean, Creighton has a knack for finding these guys and finding absolutely perfect fits for their system. He looks like actually a little bit of a cross between Reese Watson, a guy who was really successful for them before he tore his ACL in the middle of the season or toward the end of the season a few years ago, and Marcus Zagorowski, who was there for 3 years and went pro, or 2 years and went pro. So, they find those guys. They're not only really, really good players, but those dudes are winners, man. They are fun to watch run the show. I was super impressed by him.
Hawkins came out. I mean, the 10 rebounds, I thought was another like top 3 thing or reasons why Creighton won. That whenever there was a big board to get, Hawkins was there, and then you throw in 15 points along the way.
Yeah, he was really good, and it was only a matter of time before he kind of came out of his shooting slump a little bit. I think he started 1 of 12, and that's a guy that they took from Northwest Missouri State, a D2 school, and it wasn't just like a hey, we want to add this guy because I think he can shoot, but like he's a real big part of what they do. And Coach McDermott after the game talked about his leadership and his elite level leadership and what he kind of brings to the floor, intangibly as well. And then if you got him in the corner knocking down threes, I mean, it was only a matter of time before that dam broke. And Nebraska, they got it down to 1, and at all the media timeouts in the second half, Creighton had him at about 7, but you feel like it could have been at 4 coming out of it if you had a good possession, something like that, and they just couldn't quite get there. They couldn't quite get over that hump. They couldn't erase what the bad start. I mean, they got, they had the classic bad start against Creighton, which is tough to swallow again. But they rebounded from it, and there wasn't enough there to dig them out.
What do you think it means for Nebraska? Trey McGowan's is out, broken foot. What's next for the Huskers, especially at that guard position?
Yeah, feels like it's look inwards a little bit here. Time. They gotta be better on offense. I mean, what? And they're sticking with Verge. It's like this is the guy that they have chosen to kind of hand the keys of the offense over to. And Fred says, well, he comes from a different system, and that's the kind of player he's been, and he's just going to have to learn and get there. And we've seen flashes of it, but he just gets too, dead set on that rim, man. And the great part about what he does is he finds his way in, gets his way through traffic, but he needs to finish the play and make a pass. So you have him still, and I think that'll come along. I was a little bothered tonight, and I know people are thinking it. We gotta find a way for there not to be audible groaning in the crowd when he has the ball in his hand.
Right?
It's not helpful. Yeah, it's not really helpful. So I get it. I understand it. But it's a third game, and we're getting there. And then, I think they're probably going to ask Kobe Webster to step up. He did awesome tonight. So if he can hang in there and give them a little shot in the arm off the bench, they'll be okay. But they'll miss a lot intangibly from Trey. Huge leader, number 1 on-ball defender. They're going to be in trouble without him on defense. I think they'll be able to figure it out on offense, but defense is where he'll miss him.
You think C.J. Wilcher could step in and keep Kobe coming off the bench?
Yeah, I don't know if he's. It'll be interesting to see how they kind of manage it. That's what they did in the second half. I think all those guys will probably do for more minutes at this point with Trey stepping out. So yeah, I mean Wilcher's not much of a ball handler. I guess neither was Trey, but he did a little bit more with the ball in his hand. So yeah, I think we'll see more of CJ. CJ's one of the few guys in the team where I feel good about the ball being in his hands when he lets it go and shoots it. Nebraska, we're already at that point of the season. We're kind of trying to find the guys who can knock it down at a consistent rate. I have a lot of confidence in CJ, probably more so than just about anybody else. Tomonaga's got a little cold here, and Lat goes through it. He goes up and down, and they got a couple more guys. I guess that's the benefit of having as many dudes as Nebraska has, but you're still in a mode where you're trying to find it.
Connor, it's always funny to me because whenever we talk to Kobe and the story comes up, it's like, man, I don't know what it is about me, but people keep sleeping on me. Like people keep sleeping on me. And he said Saturday morning, you know what? I'm fine. Give me the rock. I'm fine.
Yeah.
And the universe calls it. And whenever Nebraska basketball has called on Kobe Webster to step up, even when forgotten, he does so. Like, where do you put Kobe? Like, how do you gauge him? Because it seems like he's the forgotten prince. Like, it's constant.
100%. Yeah, you're right about that. It feels like whenever they've kind of needed him to, and whatever role he needs to step in, he's been like, oh, okay, I'll do that. And Fred was really complimentary of him after the game, not just for what he did to come in and keep him in there, but for also accepting the role before tonight, right? Where it's like, it might not be on the floor that much because of what else we have, but you're going to be expected to kind of be a leader still. So he took that, and then he got a shot tonight. People were really searching there in the first half. They were throwing all these different guys in. It's like, okay, let's try Kobe here, and he delivered for him. So yeah, him and Andre are probably, Andre he didn't quite give him the spurts that he gave him last time, but those guys, if they keep getting put in sticky situations and they keep performing, yeah, there's got to be room for them on the floor. I mean, they basically went with the whole bench lineup at the end of the first half when they were coming back, and then for a good part of the second half too. And some of that is because Trey was out, but that's the lineup that really got him going. So you got to find a way to mix and match. Like I said, that's the good part about the depth piece that Nebraska has. You just have to once again fit that puzzle together.
It's always fascinating to me that Latman gets 2 early shots, and then he usually gets 2 shots like midway through the second half, and then that's usually it. But everybody else can come on the floor and put up double-digit shots. What in the world is stopping Latman from taking more shots?
I don't know. Sometimes he's got to. My main critique of Lat has been when he gets them, he's got to take them, and a lot of times we see him, shot faking and then dribbling into something bad, and then they get a worse shot later in the possession. I know they want to be unselfish, but that's why Lat's out there. Lat's a different kind of player. But if he's not shooting threes when asked to, then it doesn't really work. So some of it is just the ball not finding him, and there's Nebraska's gone. Unfortunately, over the first 3 games, they've done a lot of ISO ball and stuff like that, and I don't think that's part of the plan. So, it's a little bit of everything, the ball not finding him and him not kind of, coming through either. So, he's still a capable shooter, but they got to, a thing that I would love to see him do a little bit more of, especially while you're figuring out this whole Verge thing. Mm-hmm. I think they just got to be a little bit more structured in the half court. I think it's time to rein it in a little bit and say, all right. And Fred can do that. He's been through kind of that part of it too, where he feels like, well, we can't really get out and run that much because we gotta slow things down to stay in this game. And maybe not slow things down, but I mean, look at Creighton, man. They have the point guard to kind of do it, but they're just surgical in the half court. They do a great job of sharing it and moving and good actions, and Nebraska does that on a few possessions, and then the other half are, whatever. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what they're trying to accomplish on half their possessions. So maybe it's time to run a few more set plays and get some structure in there because they're really searching on offense right now.
From the post-game presser, Fred's quote was, "The biggest thing we have to come out and get off to better starts. We cannot continue to dig ourselves a hole like that. It takes too much energy to get yourself out." Is that the starting lineup? Is that the rotation? Is that the scheme? What is it that creates these slow starts in your mind?
I think we put a lot of, they put a lot of pressure on themselves, obviously, to make shots, and they don't always get the best shot. They're not at that point with their offense. So I guess my answer is it's just a symptom of, or it's just a result of the offense in general kind of being sputtery and broken-ish right now because, I mean, it's supposed to be kind of free-flowing and you're supposed to get good looks, and I just never feel like Nebraska's in a position where they have really great looks. They got some bad ones, and then you're going back on the other side, and you can't get back on transition defense, and all of a sudden you're getting run out of the gym because, it's happening because you can't score on offense on top of it. So it happens quickly, especially when you force up a quick shot and stuff like that. So I think it's a symptom of just kind of the state of the offense right now. They need to figure out a patch or a placeholder that they can work through for the next 4 to 5 games before it gets real tough on them starting December 1st.
Connor, it's simple in that it's Idaho State on Friday, right? Is that as simple as Fred Hoiberg can make it to help his group find their way?
I think so, but I mean, yeah, they obviously have to win the game, and you gotta expect to win the game. But it's you also want to see something, right? There just hasn't been a whole lot to hang on to from these first three games on the offensive side of the ball. I think, looking up close tonight, DP, you tell me, I thought Nebraska looked better physically. I mean, before the game, just looking at the bodies, I thought Nebraska looked better physically. What about you?
Yeah, I agree. I told you, I'm the coach in me says I need to watch how people prepare, and then so the sake of, to be totally honest, we're there still at Barry's. So when I get in, I look straight to the bench to tell me what the body language of, and at that point it's 5-5, and then they go on the 9-0 run, and it was where players were starting to look towards the coaching staff, like, we're here for you if you need us. When you need us, we're here.
Yeah,
and that's what I saw. That gave me some hope. As a matter of fact, Brian T, who works in the building, he was there when it was a 9-point lead, and I said, it's going to get worse, and then Nebraska's going to go on a run, and they'll get within a bucket, and then the question is, who's on the floor and can they finish? Well, that's pretty much going to be what that was against a good Creighton team in a rivalry game. That's what they got.
Yeah. They just, I mean, it's envious, and I know we talked about this a little bit before the game. Stylistically, we made comparisons between the two programs a lot, and like I said, Creighton's not at a point this year where they could just let it flow and let those guys kind of be one with the offense. It's reined in a little bit, and they slow things down, and they're a little bit different profile this year. A couple big guys, and Hawkins gives them a different look. But what they do is constant. It's expected, and this is a totally new program for Creighton. I mean, it's not dissimilar to the position that Nebraska's in right now, or even last year. It's a group of guys that's all new. None of them ever played at Creighton before, with the exception of O'Connell and Sharif Mitchell, who I told you before the game was going to be a difference maker if he played, and I think he was a little bit.
Right.
And they got that. They know who they are, and even when it's not working, they're able to get to, or even when they don't have it physically, they're able to get to this point where it's workable. And Nebraska, it feels like it's either on or off. It feels like it works or it doesn't. Yeah. And they have to find an in-between somewhere.
I think part of the in-between might be in these statistics. Nebraska in the first few games got to the line more than 30 times, 36 against Sam Houston, 31 in the first game against Western Illinois. This game, just 9 free throw attempts, and 0 from Verge or McGowan's, who had been kind of leading the way in that. Are they going to have to find a way of kind of battling that team ball that they're trying to play, and kind of, using that one-on-one thing that Virgin McGowan's could do to get to the line? Or is this just the fact that, Creighton kind of had the rim protection and they just weren't getting the calls tonight?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that was a little bit of a good mitigation there over the last couple of games, get games into the line as much as they did. You're right, they didn't quite get there tonight. Yeah, I think that's a path, I suppose, but I know what they want to do, and they want to kind of, and I hate to hang it all on Verge, but he's got to be good in order for Nebraska to win, or he's got to be making the right decisions in order for it to be working, and then Nebraska can kind of win from there. So they have to find a kind of workable plan with him, and if it becomes messy and we're getting to the free throw line 25 times and we're slowing down, I don't know necessarily if that's their best route to staying in these games either, because I don't think that they're going to be great on the defensive side of the ball, and they can't clear the boards either. So you kind of foxholed, you put yourself in a corner a little bit here. It's got to work, and they put all the all the whatever in all the eggs in Virgin's basket, and it just has to go. Like I really don't know another way.
Yeah, I'm trying to stay away from the Adrian Martinez analogy because people will dive into that, and I just think if you understand, it's 3 games. And people are finding a way.
Keep that in mind.
Right?
Yep.
It's game 3. So for whatever it is and whatever it's going to be, I'm willing to ride it out and get it through. Kurt, thank you, kind sir, for what you do on a day-to-day basis and what you did tonight. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Connor Happer, getting us through it. Bach, I do want to get to some of these other texts because there's a lot to be said in it. Alonzo Verge Jr. was the Pac. So when you say he can't play, that's just not true. So Pac-12 6th man of the year. So his purpose and his mission has been the same. Like his responsibility is the same. It's changed this year. Now he has to not just be a scorer, he has to be a distributor and a quarterback for the team. Do you think it's possible for him?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, he's by far the best ball handler, and it doesn't take, that much. I mean, you can watch the team for 5 minutes and kind of see that. I mean, he's got a skill there. So it's kind of surprising that he hasn't been, kind of played that point guard role more in his life. But, that was kind of the system at Arizona State, kind of a one-on-one type of deal. So I think that he can grow into it. I think Happer hit the nail on the head, though, because all I saw on Twitter was the PBA reaction. And I heard it a little bit in the last game that I was at, is that people are starting to turn on him when he has the ball. And that's not going to help. He is one of your best players. And I see it on the text line. A lot of people saying he's bad, throw him out, all that stuff.
No.
He's one of your best players. And it doesn't take, I don't think it takes that much to see that. I mean, at least most skilled players. The problem that you have here now is, do you trust Coach Hoiberg to get the most out of him? And you don't want to say that it's not going to happen after 3 games, but I'm saying your most skilled players the last 2 years, and Cam Mack and Teddy Allen, didn't play by the end of the year. So, to put all on Verge is going to be interesting.
I lean away from that because
I'm not comparing him to them as far as like off the court or anything like that, or any sort of problem. But the point is, if you and you can even throw this into the Hoiberg thing, and again, like he had an NBA player on the roster last year. He was coming off the bench by the end of last year. So it's about getting the most out of what you have, and there's a lot there in Verge. So I'm not saying that it's not going to happen or that Hoiberg can't get the most out of these guys. He's got a great history over there at Iowa State to show that he's been through this before and he's been able to do it and elevate a program that way. But it is going to be interesting to watch this thing ride out, because it is going to take some patience with Verge. And I it's not that I don't doubt that Hoiberg has it. I just hope the Nebraska crowd will stay patient with it. Not that it will really dictate things, but it can, when you're out there and you're getting, groans from your home crowd, it might start to seep into your mind a little.
Yeah, and it's a crappy existence. Like, that's a terrible experience to go through, but okay, right? But the kid's out there busting his hump for Nebraska.
Oh, yeah.
Like, even if he's not getting it done, still don't be that.
Yeah.
Don't be those people. And I lean this way, and this is where I am, and I have to be sure to be transparent about it. There's certain point guard personality types that traditional fans aren't comfortable with. Right? They're not comfortable with it. Like, not everybody has 4 people on the floor who can space properly, get in the right place, knock down jumpers when you set them up. That's not always the case. But there are point guards like Russell Westbrook who play the position differently, and it makes some people uncomfortable. And my thing is, Nebraska has needed for the last 2 years that I can speak of. They needed somebody that could get them a bucket when everything broke down. What I did not expect was that he was going to be the reason why it broke down. Like, because late in the shot clock, hey, go make something happen.
Right.
And your ability to do that, you want him to finish what he starts. Like that's where I would start with Verge. If you're going to go to the rack, finish. No such thing as a halfway through. Don't go halfway. Go and finish. Right. That's what you want for him. But I also remember your teammates. Remember your brothers. Don't go into battle by yourself. That's like that whole spacing thing. I know it's not traditional point guard play, but you don't have another traditional point guard on that team. You don't.
It's not there, yeah.
Q is Verge with a dog bite. Like, like that's what that is. If you want to play Kobe in that, Kobe's not a traditional point guard because Kobe, when he plays point, will concede that offense that gave you 20 points today. And that's why they stopped starting him at point guard because they wanted somebody to come in and Kobe shoot the ball. Well, Kobe goes, well, if I move over to 2, then I'll shoot the ball. You don't have a traditional point guard. K-Say is not a traditional point guard. So be careful what you're asking for. Like don't throw out Verge with the bathwater.
Yeah.
Like don't do it because
he's going to need to be one of your leading scorers night in, night out.
And rebounder.
And
assist
man. And he's been doing it.
Right. So just before you get all Adrian Martinez on a dude, look at what happened there. You don't want that to happen. And as the earlier texter said, simply put, they have the schedule in front of them. Idaho State, which is all that's as far as I'm going to look to get right. And there's nothing wrong with the team that a win won't cure. Some success won't cure. Go and get on a roll and see some shots go down and do that. That's all that matters. That's all that matters. They figure out a way to go into Sunday's game 2-2. They've done well enough, right? Just go 1-0 one more time. I wanted this thing from the text line. And the texter says, I'm not sure what you guys are watching. Verge is selfish and seems incapable of passing. He is not a point guard. When almost the entire arena for multiple games can see that he's a ball hawk, it doesn't matter what you guys think. He's not the guy. It does matter what we think. That's why we're here. It does. It does.
And if it does not matter what we think, it clearly matters what Coach Hoiberg thinks. Who thinks he's one of his guys, an elite guy.
Yeah, come on. Like, okay. Kid had a tough night. You can just say that.
Still 4 assists, 1 turnover. Still really good assist to turnover ratio.
Hey, feel how you feel. I'm going to root for the team. Friday, they get another shot. Let's hope they get it right. Bach, thank you. Strick, thank you. Kind of happy, thank you. Big Sky, thank you. Texters, appreciate you. Thank you for joining us, riding through. Whether you like it or not, we're here for it. It's good to follow Huskers basketball. I will see you tomorrow. So will Bach. Y'all hang in there until then.